There's a level of discipline that doesn't inspire people. It unnerves them. Because when someone becomes that consistent, that precise, that unbreakable, it stops looking like effort. It starts looking like something else. Something colder. Something almost inhuman. Have you ever seen that person? They don't hesitate. They don't negotiate. They just move. And you sit there wondering, what do they know that I don't? In ancient Sparta, discipline wasn't taught. It was forced into your bones, revolving around absolute obedience to the state, endurance of extreme hardship, and military excellence. Through the Agoge training system, which began at age 7, citizens were conditioned to be loyal warriors who lived in strict, regimented barracks. And once you understand how it works, you'll never break a goal again. But there's a catch. It requires you to kill a part of yourself you never knew existed. But before I show you how it works, subscribe to the channel, like it below, and comment on the habit you most want to create in your life. This helps me a lot and shows me that you're genuinely interested in changing. Let's go. Chapter 1. The brutal system. The story I'm about to tell you didn't happen in a normal world. It happened in Sparta, a place where childhood didn't exist the way you understand it. At the age of 7, boys were taken from their families and thrown into a system called the Agoge. This wasn't education. It was controlled suffering. Hunger was constant. Comfort was removed. You were taught to fight, to endure, to obey, not because it made life better, but because it made you harder. Weakness wasn't something to fix. It was something to erase. And slowly, day by day, these boys stopped being individuals and started becoming instruments. Chapter 2. The Silent Boy. One story recorded by the historian Plutarch captures just how far this went. A young Spartan boy once stole a fox. Not out of mischief, not out of pride, but because in Sparta, hunger was part of the system, and stealing food was one of the only ways to survive it. But there was a rule. You weren't punished for stealing. You were punished for getting caught. As the boy hid the fox under his cloak, someone approached him. And in that moment, everything changed. The animal, trapped and desperate, began to panic. It clawed, it bit, it tore into his stomach beneath the fabric. Blood started to spread, slowly soaking through his clothes. The pain must have been unbearable, raw, violent, immediate. But here's the part that feels almost unreal. He didn't move. He didn't cry out. He didn't even flinch. He stood there, silent, as if nothing was happening, while the fox continued tearing into him until it killed him. Chapter 3. The Death of Instinct. And the question is unavoidable. Why? Why would someone choose silence over survival? The answer is deeper than strength. It's identity. In Sparta, discipline wasn't a tool you used when things got hard. It was something that replaced you. That boy didn't stay quiet because he was brave in that moment. He stayed quiet because the version of him that would scream no longer existed. The system had trained him so completely that the fear of failure, of being seen as weak, of breaking the code, outweighed even the instinct to live. His body was in pain, but his mind had already decided long ago what mattered more. There was no negotiation happening inside him, no debate, just obedience to what he had become. Chapter 4. The One Response. The Real Lesson. Now, this doesn't mean you should destroy yourself, but it shows something most people will never touch. True discipline is doing what must be done, even when every part of you is screaming to stop. Most people quit when it gets uncomfortable. That boy didn't quit, even when it became unbearable. This is what most people will never understand about discipline. They think it's about effort in the moment, about pushing through, staying motivated, fighting yourself every day. But the highest level of discipline is the absence of that fight. It's when the decision is already made before the moment arrives. When your identity is so fixed that action becomes automatic. That boy didn't wake up that day and choose to be silent. That choice had been built into him through years of repetition, pressure, and expectation. And that's why most people fail. Not because they lack strength, but because they're still relying on it. They're still deciding every day, instead of becoming someone who no longer needs to. Chapter 5. No gap, no escape. But there's something darker underneath all of this. Because the same discipline that makes someone unbreakable can also make them inhuman. What Sparta created wasn't just resilience. It created people who could override their own instincts, their own pain, even their own survival. And that raises a question most people avoid. Where is the line? Because discipline can build you, but it can also erase you. It can give you control, or it can take everything that makes you human. And once you reach that level, where there is no hesitation, no negotiation, no escape, you're no longer just someone with discipline. You are something else entirely. Chapter 6. The pre-decided mind. Here's where your discipline breaks, and you don't even realize it. It's not on normal days. It's on the unexpected ones. The day you wake up tired. The day something goes wrong. The day your routine gets interrupted. That's where everything collapses. Not because you're weak, but because you didn't decide in advance. You keep trying to figure things out in the moment. Should I still do it today? Maybe I'll skip just this once. And in that moment under pressure, you will always choose the easier path. That's human nature. So if you're serious about becoming consistent, you need to stop relying on willpower and start pre-deciding your actions. When you're tired, what do you do? When you're busy, what do you do? When everything goes wrong, what do you do? Write it down, lock it in, make it automatic. Maybe your full routine is 20 minutes, but on your worst day, it becomes 2 minutes. No excuses, no thinking. Because the goal isn't perfection, it's continuity. If you remove the decision in the hard moment, you remove the chance to fail in it. Chapter 7. The point of no return. Because when you reach this level of discipline, something changes, and people will notice it. Not because you talk about it, but because of how you move, how you act, how you no longer hesitate. And it will make them uncomfortable. They'll say you're doing too much, that you're being extreme, that it's not normal. And they're right, because normal people still negotiate with themselves. Normal people still choose comfort when things get hard, but you won't, because you've understood something most people never do. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself in the moment. It's about becoming someone who doesn't see another option. Just like that boy from Sparta. He didn't fight the pain in that moment. Pause. The decision had already been made long before it arrived, and that's the level you're stepping into. Not where you try, not where you struggle, but where you act automatically based on who you've trained yourself to be. And when that shift happens, people will look at you and ask, "How are you so consistent?" And the answer will be simple. You're not forcing it anymore. It's who you are. So now the question is, what are you going to build into your identity? What is the one habit you're going to lock in so deeply that there's no negotiation left? Comment it below, make it real, and if this changed the way you see discipline, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss what comes next. Because the version of you that hesitates, that negotiates, that gives up, that version has an expiration date. And what replaces it will be something most people don't even recognize. If you've watched this far, I appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next video.